Hello there. Well, I think I confused many people royally about this Saturn in Libra transit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it on a generalised viewpoint through the signs where it's going to fall for the particular signs. But please know that this is not personalised. In your own chart, it's going to depend on your ascendant rather than on your sun sign. But this is just a generalised view for the so many of you who emailed me and messaged me and told me that I've really made it very confusing. So here I am trying to undo the confusion. For you Aries, Saturn will be transiting your 7th house. And with Saturn being in Libra and ruling relationships, you better believe that your relationships are going to come under real focus. And that's probably started to happen for you. You may find, for those of you in a marriage or in a serious relationship, that this marriage is sorely tested. For those of you that come through the other side and really work on it for this next 2 and a bit years, then this marriage or this relationship will be stronger than ever. For those relationships that are not so strong and that you don't feel are worth or warrant the time to work on so hard, then these relationships will end. And there may be some painful endings in these relationships, but at least you will learn from them, because Saturn always gives you lessons so that you can open up and have more trust and more understanding for the relationships which you go into subsequently. For Taurus, it's going to be in your 8th house. Taurians, this is going to be very much connected with your relationship with money and finances. And boy, Taurus, you already have a serious relationship with money and finance and security, and this is probably going to shake your security foundations. You need to look at the areas in your life, maybe your joint finances particularly, and areas where this is not really working for you. Maybe you need to let go, maybe you need to start fresh, but certainly this Saturn in Libra is going to look at your relationship with your finances, and particularly that with other people and how you deal with finances with other people in your life. For Geminis, Saturn is going to be in the 9th house. And in the 9th house, Saturn is going to make you look at your education, your learning. And of course, Geminis love learning anyway, but you may decide to take on a higher education course of study to really put structure to these ideas that you've had whizzing around in your head. For those of you who wanted to be published or publish a book or go into publishing, this is a great time to do it while Saturn is transiting that 9th house. For Cancerians, Saturn's going to be transiting your 10th house. And so this means there could be considerably changes in your work area, in your career. You may end some kind of career that you've been in for a long, long time. And you may feel a little bereft and a little lost for a while until you start to build and find new foundations that you can move forward with. For Leo, it's going to be in your 11th house. And 11th house is all about your friendships, your relationships. You may need to look at your relationships very closely and look at those that maybe are past their sell-by date and really need to go. And not to hold on like Leo really does very often, not to resist that process, but to allow them to go so that something new can come in. But you will certainly be reassessing these friendships. Some friendships will deepen. They may be tested over this period, but they will be deepened at the end of the period, at the end towards October 2012, if you have done the necessary work on them. For Virgos, it's going to be in your 12th house, and this is an introspective time for you Virgos, thinking about all the things that you've accomplished, the things that you feel as though you haven't yet accomplished, and what it is that you want to move into. And it's a 2 and a bit year period of introspective work, of taking the time to really analyse. Virgos, you love analysing, but really analysing your situation and taking the time to work out ways to move forward. And you probably will feel a little bit in limbo, maybe for this couple of years, until things start coming to you more clearly. For Librans, it's in your 1st house and it's in your sign. Don't get worried about that, Librans. It doesn't have to mean gloom and doom. It very much means that you've got to let go of old structures, of old relationships, of old ways of relating to people where it's not balanced, where you're feeling as though you're doing all the giving and nothing much is coming to you, where you're being too accommodating, too nice. And you're going to have to look at this strongly and ruthlessly and brutally in some ways and decide which relationships can stay, and look at your own relationship with yourself and how you're treating yourself and whether you're treating yourself in a way that really feels good to you. For Scorpios, it's in your second house. This is going to be all about your relationship with money and finance, Scorpios. You're going to need to look at this. Some of you are going to find that your finances are really challenged. You may have to be very frugal. You may have to find ways in which you can deal with your financial situation in a new way. Almost like you're back to basics and you're starting fresh for many of you. But in that transformative way, you Scorpios, you regenerate yourselves and you come back better than ever, no matter what difficulties are presented to you. For Sagittarius, it's in your third house, and Sagittarius, this is all about learning. You may want to take a serious course of learning and really do something that's maybe a 2 or a 3-year course of study, so that you can extend your skills and really do something where you feel you can be of value and really make more money in a particular field. For Capricorns, it's in your 4th house. So for you, it's a shake-up of home and family. You may find that you feel a little restricted, that you've got more obligations, more duties that you need to take on. And you need to be careful as to how much you really take on, and maybe be careful that you don't take too much on in this area. But there will be a pull between home and family and your work and career and how you balance that. For Aquarians, it's in your 5th house. So we need to look at the creative side of you, the playful side of you, to allow yourself to be a little more playful and to have more fun. Some of you may find you've more responsibilities connected with your own children, and you may feel as though these are heavier responsibilities and you need to discern which you're going to take on and which you just can let go of, and you need to find that balance. And then finally, we've got Pisces. It's in your 6th house. Pisceans, your work is going to come into a crisis situation where you may have choices to be made. Some of you may find yourselves without work and starting fresh again and looking maybe at the healing field, or looking at ways in which you can creatively do something that you enjoy more, because so many of you have felt so restricted over this last year or two. So there you have it. I hope that's clarified it for you. I'd appreciate any feedback you want to give to me. For those of you that really want to understand this transit in your own charts, you might want to consider having a personal reading. And there's my website, which will give you more information about all the various options. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.